We're heading back from our trip to Maine, and we're spending a couple of nights here at the Chocorua KOA holiday in Tamworth, New Hampshire. How did we like staying here? Well, here's our 5-minute review and rating, so let's hop to it. Chocorua KOA is a family-owned campground located in Tamworth, New Hampshire. It's located right off of State Highway 16, about 13 miles south of the city of Conway. This stretch of Highway 16 has a speed limit of only 45 miles per hour, but it didn't seem that many people driving by paid any attention to that. Getting in and out of the campground can be a little tough. The entrance is short, narrow, and right off the highway. There's an automatic gate arm blocking the road that you have to punch in a personal code to gain access. Chocorua is built on the embankments of Moore's Pond, which is a pretty decent body of water. That does mean that the camp roads and many sites are sloped. Once through the gate, the main drive immediately goes down a sloped curved road, so stay on your brakes. This road is paved, is fairly wide, and goes back as far as the camp store. All the other roads are gravel, windy, narrow, and rough. If you have a larger rig, you may find navigating this campground kind of stressful. They advertise that they can accommodate rigs up to 40 feet long, but with these roads, that may be pushing it. There's currently about 150 sites here. Most are back-in, but they do have pull-through sites available. The majority of the sites are full hookup. They have some basic tent sites available. They also have almost a dozen rental lodges, some which appear to be pretty nice. You can also rent travel trailers. If you want to try staying in something a bit different, how about renting this teepee? Or maybe this older style camping trailer? Most of the sites are not very long, but were fairly wide. Our site, number 47, wasn't long enough to handle our fifth wheel and my truck, so I had to back in at an angle to get it off the road. The entrance to our campsite was bottlenecked with trees, so I had to carefully jockey my rig around to make sure I had enough room to open the slide and deploy the steps. It was pretty tight. The two other couples that were traveling with us were in sites 43 and 45 and were likewise a bit cramped. All sites in the side roads are made of a rough gravelly sand material which is easy to track into your camper. It's very annoying, but something you have to put up with. As far as utilities go, the 50 amp electrical connection was good with stable power. The water pressure was around 70 psi. And the sewer connection was also good. The provided cable TV was good with a nice clear picture and a decent amount of channels. On the other hand, the camp Wi-Fi was below average with download speeds of only 7.25 megabits per second and 6.37 megabits per second upload. That's not fast enough to really do very much. Once again, our T-Mobile phones did very well. I clocked an average of over 590 megabits per second download speed and over 23 megabits per second upload speed. Each site had a picnic table and a very nice concrete fire pit. They also had a permanent charcoal grill. Chocorua offers daily site trash pickup, and they do have 4 recycling stations throughout the campground. They have 2 bathhouses. There's a smaller one located up at the front camp entrance, and a little larger one in the back in the same building as the laundry room. Although they are not very large, they were both clean and in decent condition. Towards the lower corner of the campground is a compound area that has all the main camp buildings and activities. Here's where you'll find the laundry room. It's very small and cramped, and I doubt it could handle the needs of this campground during the busier weeks. There's a large pavilion here that sells food and ice cream during the summer months. On the one end is a small seasonal theater where they show free movies. There's a craft shop in the main building where during the busy season they teach all sorts of crafts. The first floor of the main building houses a meeting room / game room, and next to that is the camp store. The store isn't very large, but it has a great collection of all sorts of groceries, souvenirs, and camping needs. I bought this Mr. Hop To-It with glow-in-the-dark eyes. Pretty cool. Downstairs you can play some pool or ping pong, and there's some really great paintings on the walls. The swimming pool is right here too. It's not very large, but it's in nice shape. I'm sure many people skip the pool and just go down to the beach that's behind the camp store. There's also a really nice playground, horseshoes, and volleyball. The biggest attraction to this campground is Moore's Pond, which is more like a small, shallow lake. Here you can do all sorts of water activities like fishing, swimming, or just laying on the small beach. If you want, you can rent rowboats, canoes, paddle boats, and kayaks. Don't forget to check out the great view of Mount Chocorua off the north end of the pond. If you have dogs, you may want to take them to what has to be the largest Camp Canine I've ever seen. This place is humongous. The only issue is that it's way on the north end of the campground, so just getting there is probably enough exercise for you and your dog. Well, what did we think of Chocorua Camping Village KOA? We liked the... So, normally I would be wrapping this episode up, but I'm not done. You see, this campground is actually two separate campgrounds. There's the KOA part of the campground, and then there's the non-KOA part. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't show you that, would it? I'm sure you're curious where it's at, what it is, and why the KOA organization won't sanction or advertise it. The first clue in locating this other campground are these carts and signs that tell you that you can't take your vehicle past this point. You have to follow the path across a long wooden platform bridge that winds through the marsh and across the very narrow section of the Chocorua River. When you reach the end of the bridge, you're at the other campground. There's a small beach that's clearly posted as a dog beach, so if your dog likes to swim, let him or her dive right in. Continue along the main path and you'll soon come to a small group of 6 cabins. This is the Wabanaki Lodge, and yes, these are rental cabins. Originally built back in the 50s, this is bare bones bohemian style camping, as there is no electric power run to these lodges. Everything operates on propane and a little bit of solar. You are off-grid here. Imagine no TV, no hair dryers, no electric coffee makers. Well, you get the picture. They do have a very nice pair of solar-powered bathrooms, so don't worry about having to use an outhouse. This is how things were a few decades ago, and here's your chance to see how life would be without all those modern conveniences. Our group of 6 people all said that this would be a great place to totally unwind. Watch the sunrise over the water, maybe do a little fishing, read a good book, or take a long hike. In the evening, it would be relaxing with friends and family around a campfire. This is the way camping was when I was a kid, and I'd love to relive it here. Because this campground does not have electricity, KOA will not recognize this portion of it, and you won't find it on any of the main Chocorua KOA website. That's okay, you know it's here. For more information, go to wabanakilodge.com. I'll put the link in the description. Alright, since this is about the Chocorua Camping Village KOA, I'll not be including the Wabanaki Lodge area in this review. So what did we think of this KOA? We really liked the cozy family atmosphere, the great pond with its beach, the extremely well-maintained grounds and facilities, the good utility hookups, the trash recycling, the monster-sized dog park, and all the fun things to do here. We weren't so pleased with the very poor Wi-Fi, the tiny laundry facility, and the rough sandy sites. Finally, the number one thing that we didn't like was just driving and towing through the campground. This place was obviously designed and built when most camping was done in tents or much smaller campers. Back when this was originally constructed, there weren't many big fifth wheels or Class A diesel pushers like there are today. The roads are now much too narrow, and there's plenty of things like trees and small walls to damage your expensive equipment on. After careful consideration, we give Chocorua Camping Village KOA 8 out of 10 ribbits. We all truly enjoyed camping here, but if we ever come back, next time we'd bring our smaller camper and skip the headache of trying to thread our fifth wheel through the narrow roads. How about high-fiving that like icon? I'd really appreciate it. Jingle the notification bell and subscribe to my channel. We have one more overnight stopover until we get back home, so I'll be posting a new campground review very soon. Until then, keep camping.